Before we continue with checkboxes, let's go look at the list of fixes we wanted to add to our record format. We made our standard job in an earlier lesson, and we've accomplished item D about checking character types in a field. This lesson will show us how to keep operators from overflowing incorrect data into the next field, item B on our requested improvements. So, let's go to Unibase, A for Advanced Processing, D for File Definitions, B for Record Format, C for Change, and open up our Play format again. Get past the GUI screen editor and choose Checkbox Edits. And field release past the default choices. And let's go to our first real field. Now, we learned that type controls what kind of characters an operator can enter. The three checkboxes on this line, must enter, must complete, and field boundary, control whether or not an operator has to enter characters in the field, and, once in the field, what he has to do to get to the next field. Must enter means the operator has to key something in this field. He is not allowed to press the field release key to exit the field, nor the tab key. Unibase prompts with the field entry mandatory message and won't go to the next field until something is keyed. Must complete means the operator has to key a character for every position in the field. He is not allowed to exit the field by keying only some characters and then pressing field release. Unibase again prompts with the field completion mandatory message and puts him back into the field until all positions get keyed. A programmer may code either or both of these checkboxes as yes. If both are checked, then an operator has to always enter something in each position of the field. If must complete is checked and must enter is not, then it's possible for the operator to skip the field with the field release key. However, if a single character is keyed, then he has to enter a character for each position of the field. You might use this combination for such things as Social Security number or phone number. It allows the operator to skip the field if no data is present, but requires him to key all the characters if data is present. And of course, must enter without must complete means the operator has to enter some keystrokes, but not necessarily one for every position. He can exit the field by pressing field release. If the field boundary edit is checked yes, it means the operator has to exit the field by pressing the field release key. Without this checkbox edit, an operator is placed at the next field when all the positions of the current field have data in them. So if you have a 15-character field, as we do here, and 20 characters to put in the field, character 16 merely shows up in position 1 of the next field. With this checkbox edit, the operator gets an error message about end of field reached. He has to turn off the message with reset and decide what to do about the data already keyed into the field. The next three checkboxes are used to save your operators some keystrokes. Normally, the first character that an operator keys is put into the first position of the field. The second character is put into the second position of the field. Write justify means that if the data key doesn't fill the field, it is moved so that the last character keyed is the last character in the field. This is particularly useful for numeric field amounts. Alphabetic fields are usually left justified, although I've often seen part numbers, even when alpha, write justified in a field. When the operator presses the field release key, what happens to the positions that had no data entered? We can tell Unibase how we want those positions filled with these next two checkbox edits. As you can see, your choices are to put either spaces, S, or zeros, Z, into the unkeyed positions. But you have two cases to consider. The first case is with data present. In our name field, we want spaces to fill the remainder of the field. The second case is with no data. Again, we want this field filled with spaces. Numeric fields tend to be right justified, zero filled if data has been keyed, and space filled if no data is present. This is legacy again. Programs written in COBOL for mainframes expect dollar amount fields to be keyed this way. Now let's set up these edits for our play format. Let's make the name field must enter, but not must complete. And with field boundary set to Y, we'll avoid the problem of having long name fields spill over to the address field. The name field is left justified and filled with spaces, so no changes are made on these edits. In the address field, the only checkbox edit we'll set is the field boundary. We'll make city a must enter and set the field boundary. We'll make state a must enter, but we won't set the field boundary. When only two characters are to be entered, having to press the field release key would frustrate an operator. The zip code field is different. Notice that it's already marked as right justify, with fill with zeros if data is present, and spaces if no data is keyed. Those defaults were set when we chose numeric for the field type. But because most promotions like this use bulk mail, the address has to have a zip code. So we'll make zip code a must enter field. But we won't put the boundary because the zip code should always be 5 characters exactly. Now let's consider the date fields. Choices for the checkboxes here very much depend on what your shop is used to. We won't make the date must enter since it may not be present. Some shops like the date to be must complete, so 2 strokes are always keyed and field boundary doesn't have to be set. I have found that date fields are so common that I prefer to give operators the option of keying them whichever way is most comfortable. So we will set neither the must complete field nor the field boundary on the 3 date fields. Should the gender field be must enter? That somewhat depends on your customer. I'm inclined to think not. Your customer can still send out a playful pal if no gender is specified. Somebody just has to make the decision which one. Unfortunately, we don't have to. Let's look at our list again. We've now done 3 out of 6 items. Looks like we have a few more things to learn.